Friday Night Lights is back here in the great state of Texas, and it is just about to be underway here in New Braunfels, Texas, as it is the season opener for Austin High as they take on the Canyon Cougars. Sam Kamen here with Paul Longoria. Thank you for joining us, and things are going to get kicked off a little bit later than we expected. We were expecting kickoff to be at 7:30 sharp. Well, we're currently having senior day for the Cougars at the very beginning of the season, but that got even pushed back by some lightning and weather delays, but scratch that. Don't worry about it, because the good thing is we finally have football season.
We do, and it really wouldn't be early season football in Texas without lightning delays. I know there's several in and around the Central Texas area. Imagine all throughout the state. This is that time of year where it happens. But other than that, it looks like a pretty nice night, warm here in New Braunfels as expected last weekend in August. But looking forward to a great game tonight. Last year, these two teams had a shootout there in Austin with the Maroons coming out ahead. So we'll see if we have another exciting one tonight.
Yeah, the high today was 100 degrees on the dot. Right now it's 88 degrees. The sun will set as we kick things off. But you mentioned last year's game, the second straight year the Maroons and Cougars are going against each other. A 44-34 win, a back-and-forth bout there in Austin, but tied at halftime. The Maroons made some key adjustments and got the win, 44-34, as they ended up going 5-5 in the regular season, an even 3-3 in district play, making their first playoff appearance since 2020. Pretty remarkable stuff. And Coach Jason Cecil, first year as the head coach, being promoted from DC, looking to continue to build on that.
Yeah, last year was a big one for the program. They had been in a playoff drought for several years, and I'm sure going into this season, they're looking at it as perhaps a stepping stone to even bigger things this year. They lost some really good leadership from that senior class last season, but returning some good talent this year, and it starts off tonight. Yeah,
he's in his 30th year of coaching, 51 years old, was the defensive coordinator the last two seasons under former head coach Bernard Riley, but he is calling all the shots here for the Maroons tonight. On the other side, it is the second straight year that their head coach in Canyon, after having three different coaches in 3 years, they finally get some stability with their head coach, Sean McAuliffe, going 8-5 last year, deep run into the third round, and they've got some serious talent with Jackson Reagan, a Utah State commit at running back, and can't forget the defensive back, Texas Tech commit, Luke Bell.
Yeah, they play in a very stout district. As you mentioned, they had a really great year last year. Matter of fact, they got not only to the third round, but they lost a tough one to San Antonio Harlandale to exit out of the playoffs. But bringing back a lot of really good talent, as you mentioned. Finally some stability in the coaching staff. It's tough when when you're changing coaches year after year. I mean, these players have 3, maybe at the most for the talented ones 4 years, and when you're just changing coaches every year, changing staffs, it makes it difficult. So, but they look like they could be primed to make another deep run into the playoffs.
Well, we'll take a quick break, as this is pre-game of game number 1 for the Austin High Maroons this year, and we'll get to thank one of our loyal forever sponsors. That is Torchy's Tacos. Austin High School football would like to give a special recognition to our loyal forever sponsor, Torchy's Tacos. The Booster Club is deeply grateful for their generosity and commitment. Their support, along with others, supplements the small district budget and allows us to provide resources that truly elevate the program. With renewed excitement under the leadership of head coach Jason Cecil, we're kicking off a season full of promise and partners like Torchy's Tacos that make it possible to give our players the best possible experience on and off the field. Thank you, Torchy's Tacos. We're about 20 minutes from kickoff here at Cougar Stadium. Stay with us here on Vipe Live.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the UIL, are the 825,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Texas. And so, we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Timeout.
All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
All right, folks, let's get started. Parents, thanks for coming. As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation, that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So, how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me, and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Texas.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the UIL.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the UIL, are the 825,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Texas. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
All right, folks, let's get started. Parents, thanks for coming. As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation: that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So, how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me, and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Texas.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Back here at Cougar Stadium, we are still pregame, a little bit of a delay due to some weather that was passing through, has pushed kickoff time from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, but it will not dampen the fun for these Austin Maroons and Cougars that are trying to get their 2025 season underway. And there are definitely some changes that you're going to see throughout the season. I know this is just a radio broadcast, so you won't get to see everything, but some in-game communications. They've taken some of the college game and really starting to get these high schoolers ready for that next level. You've seen the NFL have the earpiece in. It's gone down to the college ranks the past couple of years, and now high school is going to have these wristbands, watches, or belt packs that the coaches can communicate with one of their players on the field. Most times it'll be quarterback or a linebacker, but I mean, the game is just ever evolving. And when did you think that high schoolers were going to have that sort of technology at their display in 2025?
I guess it just follows the trend of everything else. It's amazing the evolution and of the skill level of these players, particularly at the quarterback position. I mean, high school, by the time these quarterbacks reach high school, they've been to camps, they're training year-round, they've got quarterback coaches, and so I guess this just sort of dovetails with that. They run some pretty exotic offenses and pretty intricate offenses, so I guess we're almost there.
So that's one of the changes. You'll see guardian caps is what they call them. Sometimes you'll see them in the preseason soft shells, trying to lessen the padding. That one's not too far out of the realm. It's just more of a safety protocol. That's kind of nice that they're going in with that. Offensive cadence, you've seen it the last couple of years. They'll get delay of games if a defensive player is clapping, because sometimes these spread offenses, like you say, their snap count is based off the clap. And so that one's going to be a good rule. But I think the coolest rule, and I think it's going to be the most impactful rule, is the 2-minute timeout. Because high school, you had to use those timeouts so wisely as a coach, and now you have a 2-minute timeout at the end of the first half and the second half. Could be a game changer for a lot of these close games.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's another rule in there to try to bring even more offense into the game. I mean, it seems like nowadays, teams are scoring at will. It's very easy to do so, it seems like. But now with that 2-minute warning, as you said, that's that extra timeout. And if a coach has to burn one, maybe even two in the first half, I mean, they still have got that hard stop at 2 minutes, and to be able to get things, be able to get a final minute drive either in the game or in the first half to try to get in that end zone.
Now we look at this Austin Maroons team, a team that, it does return some key pieces on the offensive side. 7 offensive starters return, starting with their quarterback, Whit Davenport, their tailback, Reed Childers. They do have a new offensive coordinator, and so Coach Cecil had mentioned to me before the game started, they were more of a West Coast offense this year versus the power spread this past year. Kind of what do you remember about last year, and what are you kind of expecting to see out of Austin High tonight?
Well, last year they tended to lean heavy on sort of a 3 running backs that they had, including Batts, who's left for Army, I believe, and then Reed Childers returning was one of the 3. So they tended to lean a little bit more on the running game. They battled some inconsistent quarterback play. They also battled some injuries at quarterback. But I'm excited to see what they come out this year in terms of trying to facilitate their scoring opportunities a little bit more. And so maybe a little bit more exciting, put the ball in the air a little bit more, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Whit Davenport had some valuable time as a sophomore as the signal caller, gets a year under his belt, going into his junior year this year. He'll be throwing to another guy, Logan Davis, who was a sophomore last year, will be a junior this year. You mentioned Reed Childers, 445 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, part of that 3-headed monster in the backfield. And then you look at the defensive side for Austin. You wouldn't think it's a necessarily glaring, they only have 3 defensive starters returning, especially when you go into the fact of, hey, Coach Cecil was the DC last year. He's the head coach. He has the same system under the belt, and it's just, hey, reload, recycle. Everyone knows the scheme, and just execute it.
Yeah, that's going to be real crucial when you lose that amount of minutes, snaps, and but you've got that continuity with Coach Cecil going from the DC to the head coach, and he knows what he's got back there, and those young men that are stepping up, next man up mentality into the starters roles. They've had a year under his system, so they should know all the signals and the schemes, and they should be able to play. They should be able to play fast this year.
Yeah, the 3 guys that are returning are in their front 7. Michael Friday had 4 sacks last year at the nose tackle position. Hardison Bort, the senior, both of those guys captains. Ethan Kale, the Mike linebacker, also a captain, and John Burns at the will linebacker position, 78 tackles a year ago. So, that's the one thing you see Austin High every single year. They've got plenty of talent, and it just happens that they're just located in probably the toughest district in all of Texas when you throw in Westlake, Lake Travis, number 4, number 9 in the state of Texas. Dripping Springs, who's primarily that 3 seed in District 26 6A, still 37th best in the state, and then it really is only a fight for who's going to get that 4th spot.
It really is, and the reality of the situation is that when you're talking Westlake, Lake Travis, and Dripping Springs, you're talking about 3, independent school districts that are single high schools, and so they've got the resources, they've got the facilities, they've got certainly the numbers there, and they've got a big advantage over basically their AISD counterparts. And so it is. It's the reality of the situation. You're not trying to wave a white flag, but those are 3 really difficult teams, particularly when you're talking about Westlake and Lake Travis. And when you're talking about Dripping Springs, you're basically talking Dripping Springs is what Lake Travis was, say, about 15 years ago. Just great facilities out there, great numbers, and a lot of kids that play football. So it's a grind, and the Austin area itself, just to sort of deviate on that, Austin High last year, the first playoff game was against Vandegrift, and they put up a fight against Vandegrift, but Vandegrift was a powerhouse who went on to win state last year. So Austin area football's it's no joke, man. It's no walk in the park, and it starts with the Maroons district. Yep,
Vandegrift ranked preseason number 5 according to Dave Campbell's in the 6A portion of the state. And it was one of those awesome things because Austin made the playoffs for the first time since 2020, a school that's been to the playoffs 31 times, has won a state title, and Austin's not going to say it, Vandegrift's not going to say it, as the Maroons finally take the field here at Canyon Stadium, wearing their all-white uniforms and maroon helmets. But I was reading in their preseason magazine for Dave Campbell's, the upset of Austin making the playoffs instead of Bowie making the playoffs pushed Westlake down from, they're usually a Division II school, they bumped them up to Division I, and they said theoretically Austin making the playoffs gave Vandegrift a more suitable path. They still had to go beat a lot of good teams, but
including Cibolo Steel and so forth. So that's how it can happen in the playoffs. But it's going to be a dogfight this year.
It'll be an interesting first game, to say the least, as the Cougars are in their tunnel, ready to run onto the field. And here come the Canyon Cougars. Red uniforms, black helmets, and black pants. Here from New Braunfels, Texas. The Cougars preseason projected to finish 3rd in District 29 6A behind, as you mentioned, Cibolo Steel, San Marcos, Buda Johnson. Projected to come in at number 4. That's still a very tough district, but this Canyon Cougar team, just looking at some of their roster, and obviously you see 2 Division I commits in Jackson Reagan, Luke Bell. Gotta think that they've got some high expectations, but their biggest question mark is who's going to play quarterback.
Exactly, and it's there's no bigger question mark really for any team when you're starting out new at the quarterback spot. But they've got a lot of talent throughout the roster. As you said, they've got a lot of high hopes. You don't get to that 3rd round of the playoffs and lose a tough 3rd round game and bring back a lot of people and not expect to improve on that. And I know in their district, Cibolo Steel sort of that is the big monster kind of in the sort of the metropolitan San Antonio area when it comes to football. But I'm going to consider New Braunfels sort of the metropolitan San Antonio area.
We'll throw it in there. We'll throw it in there.
But in terms of being in the same district and so forth, but they've got a lot of high hopes. They've I know the prediction is for them to be in third. I don't know if they can get to the top spot of the district, but I think they got a chance to battle for that second spot. And as you alluded to earlier, it really kind of depends as to who else makes it or doesn't make it that maybe can determine whether you go into the big or small school division.
Heck, being a San Antonio guy, we always lump in Cibolo Steel as San Antonio, so might as well throw in New Braunfels the way these metroplexes are growing out. San Antonio's getting up to New Braunfels, and San Marcos and Austin's getting pretty close to Buda, Kyle, and San Marcos too.
Exactly, and you start rolling in, kind of Pflugerville, Round Rock, and it just becomes one big, massive humanity on I-35.
Currently having the coin flip at midfield, the Austin Maroons captains out there. Number 97, Michael Friday. Number 99, Hardison Borth. Number 70, Alonzo Garcia. And number 23, Reed Childers. New Braunfels Canyon has won the toss. They will receive, and they will shake hands one more time, and we'll take a quick break just moments away from kickoff here on the season opener for the Austin Maroons. It's the Cougars and Maroons next here on VIPE.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the UIL, are the 825,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Texas. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible, because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the UIL.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Texas.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
We're good to roll here from New Braunfels High School. Friday Night Lights, 30-minute delay due to some lightning passing through Central Texas. And the Maroons will kick off to the Cougars to get things started here in 2025. No better time than late August. Sun bearing down. All the two-a-days pay off for this moment right here.
Comes down to this.
To send it away for Austin is number 27, James Peterson. And back to return for the Cougars. Going all the way back and seeing it through the end zone is number 34, Quincy Jones. And we get our first look at who will be the new signal caller for New Braunfels Canyon. They lost their starting quarterback of Reed Deersky to graduation. The 2-year starter threw over 3,300 passing yards, 34 touchdowns, ran for another 500 yards and 11 touchdowns in his career. But it will be number 0, Devin Lagunas, the junior, 5'7", 163, will start behind center in the shotgun as Jackson Reagan to his right, trips to the left. 1st and 10. Play action, escaping the pocket, looking deep over the middle, and that ball is caught inside Austin territory and dragged down inside the Maroon 35. Number 3 on the reception for the Cougars, and that is Josh Wood.
Goodness did a really nice job just kind of rolling to his left, faking a handoff, going the other way, rolling to his left, and was out in space and just found his man wide open downfield. If I recall correctly, though, on the last play, first play of the game, last year's game, they scored on a long touchdown pass. So technically Austin High is ahead of the game right now.
1st and 10 for Canyon, back to pass again. And got nowhere to go, and he is surrounded by white jerseys. Good pursuit by the Maroons, led by Michael Friday. The senior had 4 sacks last year and just about had one there.
Did a nice job just kind of hold the edge and forcing really Lagunas just to kind of take what he could get, try to get back to the line of scrimmage, which is all he could muster. Nice play there by Friday.
2nd and 10. Trips left, Reagan to Lagunas right. Motion to the right, and the ball is through Lagunas' hands. He's able to corral it, but it is a big loss all the way back to the Canyon 39-yard line.
Well, I didn't see much with the snap. It was a little bit to his right, but certainly it wasn't low. It wasn't over his head. Perhaps he just took his eye off the ball, but boy, that's a... You know, you start off new quarterback, you make that really good first pass, kind of get things going for you, but then 2 plays later, you really kind of let a ball snap go through your hands, and big loss, and not really sure what you call here, 3rd and 30.
3rd and 37, a screen pass to Reagan. He has blockers out in front, back across midfield, tackled at the Maroons 45. It will be 4th down, but knowing Texas high school football, this is not really pooch punt territory. They like to be aggressive here at Canyon.
Yeah, you get to this the spot, you're in plus territory at the 45, and you know most teams seems like the habit is they'll take their chance. They're probably going to see if they can perhaps swing something underneath for about 10 yards, see if the receiver can break it.
4th and long, trips right for Lagunas. Has time. It He's rolling around. Flags are all over the field. He's pointing deep to his receivers, and he will just run out of bounds at the 40. And if those flags...
I think it's going to be a hold. You got 2 holds on the play, or just 2 officials threw their flags. But I obviously at this point, Maroons will just decline it.
And
take over.
Can't hear the White Hats' first call of the day, but it was a holding on the Cougars, so a good 4th down stand by the Austin Maroons after giving up a big play on the first play. You nailed it on the head. They stopped right there in their tracks and get a big stop, and now we'll see the first time for the Austin offense.
Well, you kind of take that initial blow and kind of in a boxing match, and you try to fight your way out of it, and Austin High did. They made a great stop for no gain on the second set of downs, and they caught the break with the mishandling of the snap that really put Canyon in a hole, and then they just kind of closed it down from there, got the ball. First drive of the game, first drive of the year for them.
1st and 10 from their own 40. Under center is Davenport. Handoff in the backfield, and it'll be a loss for Reed Childers. A loss of 2, stood up by the front 7 of the Canyon defense. A 3-4 defense for the Cougars.
Locking up front, not on that play, not terribly good. When you say he's got stopped by the front 7, I felt like it was the entire front 7 literally that was in that backfield. Childers coming off a really good year, good solid year.
In the
got some nice speed, good power.
Yep, in the I formation, 2 receivers to Davenport's left. He'll fake it to Childers, looking deep, a long shot, and just too long. Intended target was Lorenzo Hoopman, the junior wide receiver. Had coverage from number 8, Dion Yanez. And now it is 3rd and long for the Maroons.
I thought he might look towards the post for Davis, but he kept it on the outside going to Hoopman. I thought perhaps Davis had some daylight running that post, but brings up that 3rd and long here.
3rd and 12 from their own 38-yard line. 8:35 to go here in the first quarter. Rolling to his right, Davenport. Sideline throw just a bit high. Had an open Brady Ford, but couldn't put it on his numbers, and it'll be a punt on the first possession for Austin High.
Boy, you really like to see him make that pass there. The protection was good. They rolled him out to the right. He had a really good, really clean pocket to throw to him, and Ford was wide open right at the stick. Would have been an easy first down, but that ball really just sailed on Davenport, which sometimes he battled that last year. Sometimes his throws would get away from him, and they come out a little bit hot and high, but kind of a missed opportunity there because Ford would have had an easy first down.
James Peterson also has the punting duties, able to handle a bouncing ball snap. There's 2 back to receive for Canyon, and not able to go anywhere was number 19, Emmanuel Delgado. Maybe picked up a few yards on the return, but Canyon will start their second drive of the season from their own 37.
Well, fortunately for the Maroons, it looks like Canyon was in punt return formation. That ball literally rolled, I think, the entire way back from the center to the punter, from the snapper to the punter. But so Maroons able to get it off and survive what could have been disaster.
8:17 in the first quarter. First play of the second drive is to Jackson Reagan, and he is gone. Made one man miss in the backfield, and he is in for 6. Touchdown, Canyon. A 63-yard strike on the feet of the Utah State commit.
Well, they brought a linebacker, John Burns, coming in on a run blitz, and that's a situation where if you don't make the tackle, you have left that back of the defense really exposed with the routes that the receivers were running, and that was, as you said, one miss and 60 yards later, touchdown for Canyon.
And they get a odd formation. They do get the 2-point conversion. It looked like they might go back into field goal formation. Instead, they throw it to the far pylon and tack on 2 more. So 8:07 left here in the first quarter. Our first score of the game goes Canyon's way on a 63-yard touchdown from Jackson Reagan. More Texas High School football here on Vipe Live. One play drive on drive number 2 for the Cougars. Took 10 seconds off the play clock, 63 yards on the run for Jackson Reagan. Had 143 yards per game on average for his junior year. Over 2,000 all-purpose yards, 28 total touchdowns, 25 on the ground, 3 as a receiver, and he gets his first touchdown of his senior campaign. Booting it off the right foot on this near side and stepping out of bounds inside the 10. They're not going to they're going to let it play on, and a big-time return for, looked like it was Brady Ford. Check that, number 16, Logan Davis, tight-roping the near sideline and got all the way past the Austin High 40, and now the officials look like they might talk this one over.
It looks like they're sticking with the spot. There was an official right where Davis made the catch, and at least from our vantage point, from my vantage point, it was hard to see any green between his toes and the sideline. I thought for sure it was going to be blown dead out of bounds right there, but we didn't hear a whistle. There was no signal from the official. I think some of the Canyon players might have stopped a little bit, but
I think all of us somewhat sort of stopped because we thought there was going to be a whistle, and then good heads-up play by Logan Davis to just keep going because he did not hear a whistle.
He did not. Now they're ruling it there at the Austin High, the ball at the 42. So I think the Canyon coaches still want some sort of explanation, but at this point, the ball's going to stay where it is. And that's huge. I mean, Davis literally caught the ball inside the 10, close to about the 7-yard line, because when he was going to make the catch, we're thinking in our heads, oh, well, no, they're...
Maybe they're this is something I haven't seen either. We're just going to redo it.
We're going to re-kick it. Okay.
I guess there's no harm in that in the sense there were no points scored, but that's a huge swing in field position, whether it was going to be inside the 10-yard line, out past the 40, and now we'll just act as it never happened.
I guess perhaps when they came together, they couldn't get a definitive call. I think the side judge or the back judge, it seemed like they were getting ready to blow their whistle, and when that whistle never came and the play continued, and I think it just kind of got lost from there. So, as you said, they'll re-kick it again.
Carlos Henriquez to send it away. Back to receive. Logan Davis and Jason Martinez. That one goes through the back of the end zone, and this one will be a touchback. So no controversy on where this ball is starting for Austin High. And they will look to get some offense going after going 3 and out to start. They're more of an old school type of offense.
So if Davenport can settle down a little bit, going back to that first drive again, you kind of like to see him make that completion on that third down. But
And this is something that Coach Cecil did mention. We're going to see both quarterbacks, Whit Davenport and Elijah Jabon. It's going to be a read option. Jabon keeps up through the middle, breaks a couple tackles. It's a first down and more down the far sideline and thrown out of bounds. A great gain on his first play up to the 46 of Austin High, a gain of 16.
yeah, very nice. Very nice. Take the handoff, got the ball, had a little crease, got up. I'll be on the 45-yard line of Austin High.
And my math is fading on me as the night wanes down. It's actually a gain of 21, not 16. Forgot to add that extra 5 in. Now Davenport back in at quarterback. Fakes the handoff end around to Jabon and gives it to Childers. A long developing run, but a good gain on first down for Reed Childers.
It was a bit of lots of misdirection on that play, a couple of fake handoffs, and Childers, it turns out, had to make a man miss behind the line of scrimmage, but he turned what should have been a loss of 1 into a gain of about 5. And that's kind of what he did last year. He had the physicality to be able to shake off a tackle, but then be able to accelerate and pick up some yards. So nice gain on first down there by Childers.
Jabon is under center. 2 tight ends to the right. And now he'll go to the shotgun. 5 wide. 3-by-2. Play clock's all the way to 0. And Jason Cecil is going to call the timeout to make sure they don't get a delay of game. So 6:54 left here in the first quarter. 8-0 lead for Canyon. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go anywhere. Austin High football here on VIPE.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
2nd and 5 from the Canyon 49. Here on the second drive for Austin High. 6:54 left here in the first quarter. Elijah Jabon back in the shotgun. 3-by-2 set. Quick drop. He is pressured and he is sacked. Unblocked man coming on that far side and not missing the tackle was number 12, Logan Andrews, last year's defensive newcomer in District 29 6A. Big tackle for loss and an injured Cougar on the field as well. Got caught in the mess. Unsure who it is right now.
I can't see it. Can't see a number on the young man. It looked like 2 defensive ends coming in and get to the quarterback, and looks like one of them just happened, as you mentioned, kind of got caught up. The quarterback went down, and
Athletic training staff attending to him. He's taking his helmet off. So, his head coach as well, in his second year, Sean McAuliffe, making sure his man's all right. But a big play for the Cougar defense.
Getting up.
And looks like it's number 70, Cannon Gutierrez, a senior defensive lineman, having to be helped off. Hopefully he's able to recover. Just in his first game of his senior campaign. Praying for the best for him, as he's having some hard time putting the weight on his leg. But back to 3rd and long for Austin High. Couple big explosive plays, got them into Canyon territory, and they've got to pick up a 3rd and 13 from their own 43. Need the 44 of the Cougars. Under center is Jabon. An end around and making a few guys miss, but too many red jerseys for Logan Davis to escape. It'll be a loss on the play. And another 4th down coming, looking like the punting unit will flip onto the field for Austin High.
Well, a drive that started out with some promise. Big 21-yard game by Jabon. First down, and Childers picks up 5 on the second set of downs, but then they just go backwards from there and end up having to punt after they got the ball to midfield. Looks like they got a little cute on that drive. A lot of misdirection, and that one really, Davis had no chance on that reverse.
One hopper to Peterson. He's able to get it off, but off the side of his foot and out of bounds towards the Austin High sideline. It'll be great field position for Canyon as the referee keeps coming forward. It'll be spotted at the Cougar 45. So having some trouble with the long snap exchange between Bennett Jaros and James Peterson. Has Canyon back to work, and here we see number 2 on the depth chart at the QB spot, Knox Ford, now in the game. He'll call his own number, lowers his shoulder, and tackled out of bounds. Be just short of the marker, a gain of 9 for the sophomore. 6'3", 165 was the JV starter a year ago. Some people projected him to be the starter here in game 1, but both teams trying to feel out who their starting quarterback will be. 2nd and 1 carry for Jackson Reagan. He has the first down past the 45 of Austin High, and the chains will reset for Canyon.
Looks like Canyon kind of starting to establish themselves a little bit on the ground. They keep going to that.
5:30 to go here in this first quarter. 8-0 lead for the Cougars. Trips right. Back to pass as Knox steps up and lowers his shoulder again. The tackle there by number 28, Ethan Kale. Only a gain of 1 for Knox Ford.
Nice job of Kale coming up. Looks like there was a little bit of room for the quarterback after he pulled the ball down to run. But Kale, nice job coming in, filling the hole, and stop for minimal gain.
Empty backfield. 3 wide receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Reagan in motion. He'll get the call, and he's got plenty of space to work with. He'll just run out of bounds, but he moves the chains once again. Jackson Reagan getting close to the century mark here in the first quarter.
Can you bring the ball to the left? They really have numbers out there, and easy gain, easy pickup with the first down for 10 yards.
Trips right again for Ford. Reagan to the right. He'll roll to his right. And has got nowhere to go, and he is thrown down for a sack. Ethan Kale has slung down Knox Ford. 2 of the last 3 plays. This one's a big loss all the way back to the 39-yard line.
Nice job by Kale to come in there and make a big play for the big loss on the sack. I thought Ford was going to try to do something with it while he was in the grass, but he went ahead and just took the ball away and took the sack.
Loss of 6 on the play in motion. They'll give it to Jackson Reagan following his pulling guards, and they get most of that sack yardage back. It'll still be 3rd and long now for the young sophomore quarterback.
You got to think at this part of the field it'll be 4-down territory if Canyon doesn't pick it up here. Got the ball just outside the 32-yard line of the Maroons.
Tight formation. Reagan to the right of Ford. 3rd and 11 from the 33. Back to pass. He's flushed to his right, looking deep for the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown, Canyon. Tremendous grab there for Isaac Early. And just like that, the Cougars expand their lead to 14.
Well, Ford did a nice job of kind of breaking containment, and I thought he might tuck it and get some yardage upfield, but kept his eyes open downfield and delivered the pass to the goal line for the score.
Here's that odd formation. They're going to flip it back to that far side like a swinging gate. Reagan to Ford's right. They're going to go speed option, and he is thrown down. Much better job there by the Maroons of being ready for the trickeration. Tackle by John Burns. But another touchdown for the Canyon Cougars, their first passing touchdown of Knox Ford's career in the varsity uniform finds the senior Isaac Early. 14-0 Canyon, 3:17 to go here in the first quarter. You're listening to Austin High football on Vipe Live.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
3:17 left here in the first quarter. 14-0 lead for New Braunfels Canyon. Henriquez sends it deep all the way to the goal line. And trying to return it down the near sideline and out of bounds is Logan Davis. Getting to the 21, so just shy of where a touchback would be, but able to move the ball on that last possession were the Maroons, but need to punch one in here. Get some.
Yeah, they find themselves down 2 touchdowns and didn't get anything on the first drive. Got a little bit, moved the ball as you mentioned on the second drive, but then just stalled out. Davenport back, Javon back in the game at quarterback.
Fullback to his right. Childers straight away. Give to Childers, and he's dancing around in the backfield and somehow squirts forward to about the 25 for a gain. About 4.
Definitely turned nothing into something on that play.
And this was something that Coach Cecil had mentioned. There's just a lot of inexperience on the offensive line. Has a lot of good skill position players. If the offensive line can click, this team can be dangerous. 2nd and 6 from their own 25. 2:30 to go in the first quarter. Motioning to the far side is Lorenzo Hoopman. A give up the middle once again, and about another 3 or 4 yards from Childers will make it 3rd and manageable for the Maroons.
Fighting hard to get this first down on this first set of downs to start this drive.
3rd and 3 for Austin High. Ace formation. Childers 6 yards behind Jabon. Under center. It'll be the swing around to Hoopman. Cuts it up field, and he does have first down yardage. So a nice play call on the misdirection. Gets it to Enzo Hoopman to move the chains.
Yeah, it looks like Canyon was crashing down on Childers. Left a little room on the left side for the Maroons to get that first down.
Breaking the huddle with 1:15 left on the play clock. Jabon in the shotgun now. Childers to his left. 3 wide receivers to the far side of the field. Play action. Here comes the Heat. Able to duck out of it, and he's got space to work with. Makes another Canyon Cougar miss. Big hit at midfield, and continues to fight forward all the way to the Cougar 46-yard line. Great pocket presence from Elijah Jabon.
That was really nice because the Canyon rush got there quick, and he really didn't even have a chance to look to throw. He pretty much had to bring it down right away, and had a lot of open field because Austin had sent their guys deep, and got some big yardage early, and then finished off with some tough running and taking some hard hits at the end. But Maroons move into Canyon territory.
Gain of 21. They stay in the shotgun here. 2 wide receivers to the left. Childers also to the left. He'll be the lead blocker as Jabon calls his own number. He's into the 20 and just tackled by the shoestrings. A touchdown saving tackle by number 19, Emmanuel Delgado. Or else this would have been a 1-score game.
Nice blocking out there by Childers after he took. Oh, we got a flag on the play. Golly.
What would have been
Wow.
the first time into the red zone will push them back into their own territory. Just a costly penalty.
Wow.
It takes away a big gain.
Well, that is a 40-yard penalty when you are close to a 40-yard penalty when you add it all up. First and 20 for the Maroons.
Back at their own 44, 20 seconds left here in this first quarter. Davenport now in the shotgun. Trips left. Be the last play of the first quarter. He'll roll to his left, and the throw is off the mark, looking for Mac Diamond, the tight end. So 2nd and 20 now for Austin High.
I kind of thought Austin High might just let that clock run down, go into the first quarter break, talk about it, come out and on a 1st and 20, but they ran a play and incompletion going to bring down 2nd and 20. Should be the last play of the quarter, I would imagine.
Under center now is Davenport. Coming up is Childers. A awkward handoff, and he'll lose yardage. So that will be the end of the first quarter. Some promising plays for the offense of the Maroons, but it's been the Canyon Cougars finding the end zone. A 14-0 lead after 12 minutes. Another 12 to go here in the first half from Cougar Stadium. You're watching and listening Austin High football here on VIPE.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the UIL, are the 825,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Texas. And so, we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Third and 20 for Austin High to start the second quarter. Back to pass, Jabon, deep corner route. A big catch there from Logan Davis. Shy of the marker, but this is manageable here on fourth down. A great post corner route by Davis, and an even better throw from Elijah Jabon.
Very nice throw. Dropped it beyond the up defender and in front of the back defender, and Davis with a very nice gain there.
Looking like a tush-push situation on 4th and 3. And look at that.
He got it, looks like. Yeah, they got him marked up to the 35-yard line. You don't normally see the tush-push from 3.5 yards out on 4th.
I think that is the first time I've seen it from that far out.
I think Jalen Hurts' max is about 2.5 yards. He can get that, but okay. I thought maybe they were just going to huddle, break it, and then go, but
I guess that's something they saw against a 3-4 front.
yeah.
They liked the size of their offensive line, and they powered through for a first down. Key pickup. As Davenport was under center last snap, it's Jabon this time, and he gives it to Childers, who somehow spins out of another tackle, broke it in the backfield, and able to get a few.
That was a nice piece of running there by Childers, because that was a 2-yard loss. It gets turned into almost a 4-yard gain, but really a nice job of knocking off that first defender and then just squaring up and getting upfield for a few yards.
Yeah, it looked like Logan Andrews just shot out of a cannon, just could not find the tackle. He and Abram Ramirez have been wreckers in the backfield thus far. Under center again is Jabon. Give to Childers running right side, and not much there. So 3rd and 7 from the Canyon 32, as we have 10 minutes left here in this second quarter.
Another big third down here by the Maroons. Try to keep this drive alive. Important to at least get something to maybe make it manageable on 4th down if you can't get it all 6 or 7 yards here to convert.
Canyon fans on their feet. A good solid showing here in their season opener. In the shotgun, Jabon, quick throw, right side, Davis. Nice sidestep. He's got a first down and more. Inside the 20, inside the 15 goes Logan Davis.
Boy, that was one heck of a move. Nice throw by Jabon. Jabon got the ball out quick, out to Davis. But then Davis had a defender crashing on him and made him miss immediately, which left open, basically the yardage to get the first down. He took it from there, but nice throw, very nice catch and run from the Maroons on that play to get that big conversion of the first down.
1st and 10 from the Canyon 15. Jabon under center, under 10 on the play clock. Give to Childers, trying to bounce it right, and maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Just multiple Cougars just corralling him in the backfield.
Austin Maroons trying that short side, and Childers really looks like he's been under duress every time he's touched the ball. He's managed to get positive yards, at least on that last play. He didn't lose any, which really wouldn't have been on him.
He'll get another carry, and he's immediately stood up in the backfield. 5 red jerseys pummel him to the ground. First one there was the nose tackle, David Aguirre. And now it's 3rd and long for the Maroons.
Well, at some point, Childers going to wonder, will I get a block up front? Help me out, guys. Help me out just a little bit. He has not had a lot of daylight to run towards.
3rd and 13. Ball on the Cougar 18. Twins to either side. Childers to Jabon's left. A fade to the back corner of the end zone, and that one's off the fingertips of the intended target, Brady Ford. On the coverage was Dion Yanez once again.
Looks like he threw the ball maybe a half tick too early. Didn't quite give Ford a chance to get even with that defender. The throw went high and a bit over his head. Ford made a nice effort, but just couldn't bring the pass in.
So on to try the field goal is James Peterson. Good exchange on the snap and hold. The line drive is up and good. First points of 2025 for the Austin Maroons come off the right foot of James Peterson. And with 7:33 left here in the second quarter, our new score, Canyon 14, Austin High 3. You're watching Maroons football here on Vipe Live. .35-yard field goal made by James Peterson. Puts the first points on the board for the Maroons. A 14-3 game now with 7:33 left here in the first half.
Nice drive there by the Maroons. I know they didn't get in the end zone. They do come away with some points, though, but not too far behind that in terms of importance. They kind of let their defense give them a chance to rest a little bit. They finished out the clock in the first quarter and then chewed up a decent amount of time in this second quarter. So give that defense a chance, a little bit rested out there, see if they can get a stop there on Canyon.
Squib kick up the middle, fielded at the 5 and hit at the 25, able to get up close to the 30-yard line on the return. For the Cougars was number 34, Quincy Jones. That last drive for the Maroons, 13 plays, going 62 yards, taking 7:39 off the game clock. So a long time since the Cougars offense has been back on the field. Looks like they're going a couple drives apiece for each quarterback, as Devin Lagunas is now in the shotgun. Mass motion change, twins to either side. Lagunas pump faked, looking over the middle. Now he's scampering over to his near sideline. Tried to pump again, and they finally wrestle him down. A shoestring tackle by Michael Friday. pursued the full length of the field against Lagunas to make sure he did not gain an inch.
Canyon tried to run a little bit of trickery there. They ran an unbalanced line, and they slipped out the receiver or tight end that was lined up on the left.
So now,
The Maroon defense did a nice job of reading it, though.
2nd and 10, and here goes Jackson Reagan past midfield, the 40, the 30. He beats the last defender. Touchdown, Cougars.
Looks like they're going to bring that one back. Got a hold on the outside downfield. Well, they also got one here at the line of scrimmage, which I thought it might have been in real time. It looked like the left tackle might have just gotten a little too much of the defensive end holding.
And here comes the convoy back deep into Cougar territory.
In some ways, that evens out. That negates the Austin High big run. Of course, this one was really big for Canyon as
It wipes off 6 on
Yeah.
off the board.
but you could see it as a point of attack. I do think that the defensive end got held. Kind of when that running back kind of bounces things just a little bit to that outside, and if that left tackle doesn't have his man close to the inside, they have that tendency to hold that jersey just long enough for the officials to see it. That defensive end is trying to scrape to the outside.
So instead of 6 on the board for Canyon, it's 2nd and 18. A quick hitch, completion to the 30, and not much further. Nice catch there from Jordan Sanford. Was tackled there by Alex Alderson. So they got the penalty yardage back and more. All the way to the 31-yard line. They need the 40 for a first down. 6:30 left in the second quarter. Flag flies immediately. Lagunas rolling right, looking for some help, and it is caught right on the sideline, but short of the marker was Donovan Craycraft. We got flags on both sidelines. Looks like it might be a formation issue or maybe offsides.
I think it looks like they didn't have enough on the line of scrimmage. When that flag comes out, like right at the snap, as you mentioned, it's either kind of someone lined up off sides or the offense doesn't have enough people on the line of scrimmage.
They keep looking over to the Austin High side.
Well, they call offside. They moved the ball back, though. I guess they moved it back to
From
walk
the-
it off. It's going to be offsides for the Maroons.
So it'll make it 3rd and 4 now for Canyon with 6:17 left here in the first half. 14-3 lead for the home team. Reagan to Lagunas' left. Read option. Lagunas pulls, and the Maroons are right there to sling him down.
Oh, nice stop there by the Maroon defense. Van Kotzer came in on Lagunas, kind of got to him early, and then a couple other Austin defenders came in to finish him off for no gain. So big stop there by the Maroons. Chance with just under 6 minutes to go to get this ball back and try to get this thing to a one-score game.
Nolan Hamidi is the punter for the Cougars. Back to receive is number 88, Jason Martinez. And here's the fake. He's got a first down, and a flag comes in late. 2 late penalty flags.
Got to be on the punting team, I would imagine.
One looks like it might be extracurricular, and the other one looks like it might be in the land of holding. Very big penalties thrown here on this drive for the Cougars. Had a 70-yard touchdown run wiped off the board, and maybe even a 4th down fake punt conversion.
Well, the way Austin High's got their punt return team out there, they seem pretty confident that this is, at a minimum, it's going to be offsetting and negate the play, if not outright being just a penalty on Canyon. Wait for the call here.
Head coach Sean McAuliffe getting the explanation for the near side flag, and Coach Jason Cecil getting the explanation for the far side flag. Cougars on this near side close to the press box. So there's a holding on Canyon, and that's what they will walk off. Here's another look on the Jumbotron for us.
I'm not quite sure where they marked off the holding, because they moved it back to the original line of scrimmage, it looked like.
Probably from the spot
I guess
of the
maybe
hold.
From the spot, although I'm looking at the replay, I couldn't see where they got the hold.
This time a nice spiraling punt from Hamidi, and fumbled out of bounds, but it'll stay with the Maroons as Jason Martinez was trying to return it. So 5:12 left in the first half. It's a 14-3 lead for Canyon. And this break gives us a time to thank our MVP business sponsor. Austin High Football extends a heartfelt thank you to our MVP business sponsors. Their contributions help us build momentum and carry on a new tradition under head coach Jason Cecil. This season of promise is made possible through your generosity. Our MVP sponsors are St. John Studios, Z3 Real Estate, Terrytown Pharmacy, Nance Orthodontics, and Plain Capital Bank. Thank you for sponsoring the Maroons. First play of the new drive, and fumble there by Jabon on a play action. He was forced by Logan Andrews, and a big loss for Austin High, backing themselves inside their own 5.
Wow, boy, it's a tough thing to try to overcome on first down. You've already got the ball starting deep in your own territory at the 15, and then you promptly lose 5 yards on a fumble.
So they're now in the shotgun. 2nd and 21. Trips right for Jabon. Steps up in the pocket. He's got room to run. He will tuck it down and run. A stiff arm to avoid one, and able to stay on his feet just enough to get to the 25. If they give it to him, he's got a first down.
Yeah, they gave it to him. Wow, boy, nice piece of running there. Again, Austin High kind of sent everyone deep, and Canyon and man there, and Jabon did a really nice job getting into the open field. Made a pass fake, even though he was well beyond the line of scrimmage. But, the defender doesn't see that. They see the instinct. They see the arm go back, and that was enough to make one defender miss and allowed him to get 10 more yards for the first down. So really a big pickup there to get out of the hole and get the first down and kind of reset the offense here, 75 yards from the goal line.
Austin High takes their second timeout with 4 minutes left in the first half. We'll take a quick break with them. 14-3 lead for Canyon. Austin High with the ball, trying to make it a one-possession game here in New Braunfels.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Alrighty, 1st and 10 for the Maroons at their own 25. 4 minutes left here in this second quarter. First down, give to Reed Childers, and he's got a really good running lane and barrels his way down for a gain of 7.
Probably the first time that Childers has gotten a clean look to get to the line of scrimmage without a defender right on him. He takes advantage of it and gets 8 yards in that carry.
Elijah Jabon has had the most success under center. Tries to do another read option with Childers, and much better defense there. Colliding on both the quarterback and the ball carrier were the Cougars. No gain on the play, and it'll be 3rd and 3 from their own 33.
They're going with the tush-push lineup again with Davenport at quarterback or under center.
Already getting the hands on the hips. A lot more congestion here, and where's Davenport? Got one spot at the 39, one at the 34, one at the 35. They give him the 35, and it's a first down for Austin High.
I'm going to say that was a little bit of a generous spot, it seemed like to me. At least by half a yard. I'm not sure about a full yard, but they gave it to him, and the Maroons are on the move.
4-minute offense. They actually gave him the 36. So you might be right on the generosity. Trips left. Jabon able to draw someone off sides. He floats one and it's intercepted. The Texas Tech commit Luke Bell switching the fields, and he is slung out of bounds just shy of the 30-yard line, but Austin High thinks it was offside on the Cougars.
Yeah, Jabon went with a hard count, and Canyon couldn't resist jumping early.
High IQ play there from the junior Elijah Jabon, knowing he had a free play, might as well take a shot. The first time they've tested Luke Bell, senior quarterback, a preseason defensive MVP for the Canyon Cougars in District 29 6A. One of the top defensive backs in the entire state of Texas. But it'll be 1st and 5. A keeper for Jabon. He's able to break through the line, and he's got first down yardage.
Nice piece of running there. Fake the handoff to Childers. Kept it, tucked it. Shook off one defender just beyond the line of scrimmage and powered his way up for a gain of 7.
And it is our first ever 2-minute timeout here at the high school level. Austin High on the move, trying to get some points before the break. Down 14-3 to Canyon. Stay with us. You're listening to Austin High football here on Vipe Live.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the UIL.
Pretty cool that we get 2-minute timeouts here at the high school level now. A much needed breather for the Canyon defense, as the Austin High Maroons offense is starting to click. Near midfield at their own 48. Jabon back to pass. Now tucks it down, and he is sandwiched right at midfield. A big collision between Abram Ramirez and Clay Robbins, sandwiching Jabon, able to get a gain of 3 though.
I thought he was going to try to hit Brady Ford, who had kind of worked his way back just beyond the first down marker, but Jabon kept it and got 3 yards, but he took a big shot in the process.
Trips left. Quick out of the hand, and that one away from his intended target, Logan Davis.
I don't know if there was a little bit of a communication that the pass was maybe thrown a bit too quick, but Davis didn't even get a chance to get his head turned around. Boy, Childers looked like he was breaking wide open out there in the flat, just a little swing pass. Looked like he had a lot of grain in front of him to at least get the first down, but big third down here by the Maroons. See if they can stay on the march.
3rd and 7 from the Canyon 49. They need the 42. 1:24 left here in the first half. Trips left again. Jabon gets it out of the hand. Throw is off the mark. Got hit as he threw it. Davis was led too far inside, and it's 4th down for Austin High. On the coverage was Joseph Simchick, the safety for Canyon. The punt team comes out for the Maroons.
Maroons have had difficulties with this punt snap thus far.
James Peterson gets a good snap. Good spiraling kick to the near sideline. Gets a friendly hop. And what a punt for the Maroons. Perfectly down at the 1-yard line.
Wow. Nice coverage down there by the Maroons. And ball hit at about the 5 and just kind of slowly rolled its way inside the 1.
Pinpoint punting into that coffin corner like coaches and special team coordinators want. So Canyon will have the ball with 3 timeouts, 1:07, and they will have to go the full 99 yards if they do choose to.
They got to kind of be careful in this situation here. I know you got the ball, you got the 3 timeouts left, but I tell you what, when you're starting at your 1-yard line here, you don't want to. If you can just get out of here and up 14-3, they'll take that. But this is the time where things can get bad real quick. Just a simple error can be magnified. The fact that you're at your own 1-yard line.
In the shotgun behind center as they continue to rotate is Knox Ford. Trying to wait for the referees to give the signal we're good to go, and we are now. Jackson Reagan will get the carry. He just barely gets out of the end zone. See if Coach Jason Cecil wants to maybe take a timeout and see if he can't draw a safety here.
He's going to let this one go.
Canyon will have to get one play off, or at least one more play off. Play clock is at 40, or game clock is now at 35 counting down. Play clock is just now hitting 15, so a 16-second difference. And now the Cougars get their play call in. Ford has Reagan to the right, gives it to him. He busts through the offensive line and safely out of the end zone. And it looks like the Cougars, with head coach Sean McAuliffe, are content with the first half. And that is the end of the first 24 minutes. The home team struck first with 2 touchdowns. Austin High did get on the board, responding with a 35-yard field goal from James Peterson, but could not get in the end zone in the first half. So at the half, a 14-3 lead for the Canyon Cougars. Paul, your first half thoughts?
Well, I think if Austin High at least came into this game with some questions as to who would be their number 1 guy quarterback, I think in the certainly in the first 24 minutes, you got to say Jabon did a much better job in leading the offense. Now, unfortunately, he still just came away with 3, but I don't know. I think they've got a chance in the second half. They get the ball to start. I thought the defense did some nice things after a couple of shaky drive, allowing Canyon to get the 2 scores. So, not a bad first half. A play here or there, the score could be a little bit closer, but I think the Austin High's got a chance, got to come out, take this ball, kind of get on the march early in the third quarter and get this thing to a 1-score game.
They do receive the ball to start the second half, and we'll look to try to make it a 1-possession game when we start again in the third quarter. For now, it is halftime. The bands will get on the field, and you will get the pleasure of some halftime commercials. We'll be back in a little bit for some stats and some scores from around the Austin area. But at the half, it's the Canyon Cougars 14, Austin High Maroons 3. You're listening to Austin High football on Vipe Live.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the UIL, are the 825,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Texas. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible, because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day, interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
All right, folks, let's get started. Parents, thanks for coming. As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation: that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So, how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me, and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Texas.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the UIL.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the UIL, are the 825,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Texas. And so, we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Timeout.
All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
All right, folks, let's get started. Parents, thanks for coming. As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation, that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So, how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me, and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Texas.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the UIL.
Still halftime here at Cougar Stadium in New Braunfels, Texas. At the break, it's the Canyon Cougars 14, the Austin Maroons 3 at the half. A look around District 26 6A. The Del Valley Cardinals, a winner to start their season, 47-0 win over Bastrop Cedar Creek. Lake Travis doing what they usually do, 48-7 lead going into the fourth versus Arlington Martin. A surprise to some, Dripping Springs up in the third quarter over Vandegrift, 20-14. That was a 20-7 lead at the half, so the Vipers have come out of halftime and scored a touchdown to make it a one-possession game. Westlake is also down 29-14. That one in the third quarter. They're playing the Prosper Eagles. Austin Bowie at the half and in control over Manor, 42-0. Adkins as well in control, 36-0 over Austin Travis Rebels, and that leaves us with the most important game here in New Braunfels. Austin Maroons down by 11. They will get the ball to start the second half. Sam Kamen alongside Paul Longoria. And Paul, a very tough first half for Austin when it comes to the offense. They couldn't really get Reed Childers going. Whit Davenport had some trouble, but the good thing is they've been kind of by design, hey, we're going to use both of our quarterbacks, and boy, has Elijah Jabon been every bit instrumental to getting that offense rolling.
Yeah, he's allowed them to open up some things in the running game. He's made a couple of nice throws, big throws also, and they have just moved the ball better with him. I know they've only accounted for 3 points, but he's had them on the go. They didn't. They kind of stalled out late, but looking forward to see what he can do in the second half, see what adjustments they made, and see if they can get Reed Childers going a little bit with some room. Really, Childers has earned and then some every yard that he's gotten. He's just had very few clean looks when he's gotten the ball in the backfield.
You talk about it. He's had 12 carries for 20 yards, but, man, even some of the 5-yard games could have been negative plays, too.
Yeah, I think those 20 yards probably, in terms of the yardage he saved, probably is more like 30 to 40 yards that he's been able to save. But hopefully they can get him going here in the second half.
Yeah, first half on the ground, they've got 89 yards. Their total yardage for the first half, 128 yards, and almost all of it coming from Elijah Jabon, 7 carries, 63 yards, has both completions for 39 yards. On the defensive side, they've done pretty well outside of one run to Jackson Reagan. He had a 63-yard touchdown, had a 70-yard touchdown wiped off for holding, but he's been, outside of that one run, held pretty tame, 6 carries for 89 yards. The Canyon Cougars really haven't had the ball that much. They've only run 18 plays, but they have moved it efficiently. 118 yards through the air, 104 on the ground for 222 total yards. But then again, kind of like Austin High, and the fact that penalties and negative plays have stalled out their offense. It's been the penalties that have kept this game pretty close.
Exactly. So, again, you take away that one long run, and really that's a play that the defender's got to make. You coming in on a run blitz, and you've got the running back squared up, you've got to make that play. But then again, that's why they're going to Utah State. So makes the miss, makes the big touchdown run, and really kind of say that's kind of been the biggest difference in the game is just that one play. So, Austin High didn't have a terrific first half, but they're still right there in the ball game, and if they can just come out and put something together on this opening drive, even if it is just 3 points, just kind of get to that one score game and make it a ball game.
Yeah, one more recap of that first half. Canyon Cougars started out with the ball. Both teams went 3 and out before the Cougars only had a one-play drive. Their second drive, it was a give to Jackson Reagan. 10 seconds later, 63 yards in the end zone for a touchdown. They went for 2 and got it. It was an 8-0 ball game. 5-play drive, got 20 yards, but had to stall out because of some penalties and negative plays, punted that ball away. A 55-yard touchdown pass from the sophomore Knox Ford for his first career touchdown throw. Found number 1, Isaac Early, in the end zone. Dick went for 2 again on that swinging gate, did not get it. Made it a 14-0 ball game. That's when Austin High had their best drive of the game, 13 plays, 62 yards, took almost 8 minutes off the clock, a 35-yard field goal, made it 14-3, and again another drive that got so close, trying to go with that 4-minute offense, ends up stalling out, but another good punt by I'm blanking on his name now, Peterson, he's had a very good first half of handling the kicking duties, the punting duties.
He's had to work on the punting.
Yes, he's had to. He's looked like a shortstop at times. James Peterson, probably the MVP of that first half, getting the points, as well as Jabon getting the offense rolling. We'll take one final break from the halftime festivities, and then the final 24 minutes between Austin High and Canyon coming up after this. Maroons start with the ball, down 14-3 at the half.
Let's go.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the UIL, are the 825,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Texas. And so we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
All right, folks, let's get started. Parents, thanks for coming. As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation: that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So, how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me. and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Texas.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Canyon Cougar Band just finishing up their halftime performance. The Maroons and Cougars warming up on the sidelines, and we're just about ready to start the second half of play. Sam Kamen and Paul Longoria on the call for this audio-only broadcast. Thought we'd be streaming, but per UIL rules, both teams have to agree to have it streamed. Canyon Cougars don't have any of their home games streamed, so we're just lucky enough to be bringing you the action via our descriptive voice here tonight. But a good number of Austin High Maroon supporters on that far sideline. A good showing from the New Braunfels faithful as the Maroons take the field here for the second half. Down 14-3. And Paul, if you're Coach Cecil in that locker room, what is the message to your team down by 11?
I think you just tell them, look, we're in this. Let's clean things up in the second half and go out and give it all we got, and let's see what happens in these last 24 minutes. The game's right there for them. They just got to make a play here or there, and they're right back in this thing. And they came back last year to win it. They can certainly do it again this year. So, it's not as if they weren't playing hard in the first half. They just got to execute a little bit better. And I think they can. I think they found a few things on offense they can lean on. And defensively, I think they can get enough stops and make this a ball game.
As Coach Cecil, or any coach in that matter, week one, they're not going to overreact. His biggest takeaway of today was he wanted to see progress, and that really boiled down to two things for him. It's executing scheme, and he wanted to be a much more physical team. So far, I see the physicality. The execution necessarily hasn't been there on the offensive side, showing in the yards per carry, but the intent has been there for sure.
It has. They've played hard. They've made a couple of errors here and there, although, surprisingly, really for our opening game, I haven't seen a lot of, mental mistakes, silly penalties, anything like that. Just a play or two here, this game could shift rather quickly. So they've got the chance here to strike first blood in this second half, and let's see what they can do.
That's one thing, too. He mentioned turnovers, and so far no turnovers in this ball game, so a good sign of taking care of the ball. And they'll get the ball to start this second half. Have progressively eased their way into this ball game, and it looks like Elijah Jabon is getting comfortable under center with a good first half. 7 carries, 63 yards, a couple completions, 2 for 5 for another 39 yards. Let's see what they can do here on this first possession of the second half. To send it away for Canyon will be number 14, Carlos Henriquez again. And 2 back to receive for the Maroons. Davis and Jason Martinez. Swipes his hand down, walks up to the ball, and boots it with his right foot to Davis. He'll field this just outside the 5, coming down the near sideline, past the 25 and just shy of the 30-yard line is where the Maroons will start the third quarter.
Nice pickup there, nice return, and ball almost out to the 30.
Third quarter, we're also going to recognize our champ level sponsors whose support is vital to the growth of Austin High football. This season we're proud to be backed by Austin Infinity, Lee's Meat Market, and West Austin's Pop Warner Football. Thank you for helping us fuel the Maroon tradition and give our athletes an incredible experience. 1st and 10, starting at the 29. Jabon will be under center, bunch formation to the left. Childers in the eye. He'll get the toss, and he's got room left side. He'll cut it back inside, just shy of the 35. He'll get marked at the 33 for a gain of 4.
Nothing fancy there. I just mentioned they loaded up that left side. Probably could have gotten a little bit more if the pitch had been the pitch was a bit high, so Childers kind of had to wait on it a little bit instead of kind of getting it on the go and getting upfield a lot quicker. Probably cost him at least 2 or 3 yards there, but good gain nonetheless on first down.
2 wide receivers to the short side of the field. Childers in the eye again, motioning to the wide side. Childers gets the carry up the middle, spins his way past the 35 to the 36, another gain of 3, and it'll be 3rd and 3.
Like a Canyon player, a little bit shaken up on the play. Nice piece of running again by Childers. Again, having to really start working hard behind the line of scrimmage just to get some positive yards. And he manages to carve out 2 or 3 on that carry.
So 3rd and 3. Under center is Jabon. They need the 39. A give to Childers. He'll try and bounce it out. Another juke move, and he does get to the 40.
They did give it to him. He did get a nice piece of running there. Bounced out, made a hard cut right back in.
But there is a flag in the backfield at the 31-yard line.
We talked about it. There weren't a whole lot of penalties in the first half. Wow, it's a big one.
Holding on. The Maroons will wipe off a first down and make it 3rd and long.
When you're kind of lacking in at least right now in the explosive plays or the ability to kind of make an explosive play in the passing game, boy, these 5-10 yard penalties, particularly the 10-yard penalties, are almost like a drive killer on third down, and when it happens on a play where you've gotten the first down, it really kind of puts you in a hole. It's if the Maroons can come back and convert on this 3rd and 13.
It's only their 3rd penalty of the game. 3rd and 13, Twins to either side. Jabon is picked off. Dion Yanez with the interception and returns it inside Austin territory.
Well, that was just, throw was high. It didn't look like the receiver was quite at the top of his route. Easy pick for the Canyon safety back there.
First turnover of the ball game is in the hands of the senior Dion Yanez. He's been on some good coverage units and is rewarded with an INT. So sudden change at the Maroon 38. A first down carry for Jackson Reagan, and he gets a big block from his wide receiver, number 6, Boston Rozelle. Able to bust him up towards that near sideline, ran out of bounds, shy of the marker. Picked up about half the yardage. 2nd and 4, gain of 6 for Reagan. Ford, the signal caller, is going to call his own number, and he's met by a couple white jerseys at the 30-yard line.
Nice ability in handling the football there. I thought for sure he had handed off the ball to Reagan, but kept it, went up the left side, didn't gain a whole lot. But
big stop by Hardison Borth to create 3rd and 2. Pistol formation. Give to Reagan. He busts through the offensive line. He's got a first down. And tackled at the 25. They will move the chains for the Cougars.
big point in the game here for the Maroons. Defense hoping to get out of here with maybe at the most a field goal allowed, but at this point they're defending a short field.
Pistol. Give left side. Reagan bounces it outside, and good initial pursuit to bounce him outside, and a late flag thrown. Might be a face mask or horse collar, as Jackson Reagan looked like he was getting ringed around the neck.
Boy, that's going to be a big penalty if it's on the Maroons. Yep, personal foul, face mask, wow. I had him stop for a loss, and you get that face mask. We have the distance to the goal on this.
Stepping it off all the way to about the 18-yard line. Didn't go quite halfway.
I was going to say, I think he came up a few yards short. So he said that now they finished off the step
There it
off.
is. Now it's at the 14. So 1st and 10 from the Maroons 14. Another bobbled snap by Canyon. Ford's picked it up, was looking for maybe a throwaway, but he'll just eat the yardage. A big negative play. That's the second time the Canyon quarterback has fumbled the exchange. Happened on the first drive with Lagunas, and now happens to the young sophomore Knox Ford.
Kind of the same thing with Lagunas. I didn't see a really bad snap. They just didn't catch it.
Pistol formation, play action, Ford rolling right. He's going to tuck it down instead, and a nice tackle in space by number 8, Holden Taylor, the senior playing the bandit position.
He did a nice job coming up to make that tackle. It looked like Ford had some room, pick up a few more yards, but only ended up getting 2 on that play.
3rd and 13. They need to get to about the 5 of Austin High. Check down to Jackson Reagan. Spins out of 1 tackle but stepped out of bounds. And another late flag. Some extracurriculars starting to boil over between these two. So this is a big penalty that could go either way. And it's going to go against Austin High.
Well, we just came out of halftime talking about not making big mistakes, and now Austin, including keeping the penalties down, but now Austin High has had a couple of big penalties early in this second half. I mean, they had Canyon facing a 3rd and 13 now, but you get the dead ball unsportsmanlike penalty, and suddenly it's going to go from 3rd and 13 or whatever.
They had a 3rd down and 13 stop, and now it's 1st and goal. Reagan to Ford's left. The motion man is going to actually keep it. Is Ford. Had the wide receiver Donovan Craycraft in motion. Faked the jet sweep, went up the middle, got to the 2-yard line, 2nd down and 2. 7 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
You got to think at this point it's going to be.
Now we got the Wildcat formation with Jackson Reagan. Some extra blocking beef for Canyon. Did he get in? No, he did not. They're going to mark him just short.
Boy, very just short.
Inside the 1-yard line. Expect them to go same play, hurry up offense. 3rd and a yard. Jackson Reagan going to go left side into the end zone. Touchdown Canyon. 2nd rushing touchdown for the senior. And now the home team has firm control here with 6:17 left in this 3rd quarter.
Well, not the start that the Maroons were looking for coming out in this second half.
Try to go for 2 again. Ford lobs it in just off the fingertips of his intended target, Jordan Sanford. So unsuccessful on the 2-point conversion for the 2nd straight time, but they got 6 more on the board thanks to number 5, Jackson Reagan, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. Our new score, 6:17 in the 3rd. Canyon 20, Austin High 3. You're listening to Austin High football on Vipe Live. Nine-play drive went 38 yards after the interception from Dion Yanez. 3:37 taken off the game clock in a 1-yard touchdown run by Jackson Reagan. Averaged 143 rushing yards per game a year ago, and is getting close to that 100-yard threshold here tonight, as this one doesn't quite get to the end zone. Picked up. And a good return here past the 40-yard line and a late flag behind Logan Davis. So this one has sights of coming back.
Looks like we're going to have a flag on the, excuse me, not a flag, but a hold right there where the Davis got up into the hole to make that long return. That's going to start them off well inside their 20.
So down.
Suddenly the penalties starting to add up now. Crucial penalties.
Just normal commentator jinx talking about how they've done a good job keeping the penalties down, the turnovers hadn't been there, and they only had 2 penalties in the first half. They have 4 in the first 6 minutes of this third quarter.
Big penalties. A couple of holds, unsportsmanlike penalty.
Taking away
Face
first
mask.
downs, yeah. Whit Davenport now as the quarterback. Trips left in a bunch. He'll step through the pocket. And he lowers his shoulder, trucks a Cougar at the 25-yard line. A big first down run from Whit Davenport.
Boy, he went through that Cougar defender like he wasn't there.
6'1", 185 is what Whit Davenport stands at. The captain, one of 6 on the team, 3 offensive, 3 defensive, and he went straight at Logan Andrews, last year's defensive newcomer of the year, and ran right over him.
You have to hurry to get this play off.
5 seconds on the play clock.
Wow.
See if they get it off. They do, right as it hit 0. Deep throw, looking for the fade, and incomplete. First time they've tested Luke Bell.
Boy, you just hate to see that. You get a really good first down play, and then you get sort of out of sorts because you're taking too long getting the play in, and then everything just kind of felt rushed. Even up through when Davenport threw the ball, which looked like he let go of it about a half a count too soon.
Was looking for Jason Martinez on that last pass. 2nd and 10 from the 33. Twins to either side. He'll roll to his left and then just flick it out of bounds. Pursued by Logan Andrews. So now back-to-back incompletions has the Maroons at 3rd and long.
This is where you start to get when you're just constantly facing third in this type of yardage, it's really hard to keep converting, particularly when you're just not you're not meant to be able to do this so much with your offense.
Trips right. 3-step drop, the throw across the middle, and he short-armed it. Got hit as he was throwing it. Trying to step up through the pressure. Was met by David Aguirre and Julian Mata. So after a nice first down run by Whit Davenport, 3 straight incompletions, and the punting unit back on the field for the Maroons.
Maroons need a big play here, something to get this momentum turned around. They're looking a bit flat on offense, and defense got to come back out on the field. Canyon should be starting with at no less than very solid field position.
Peterson has his punt blocked. Hit the up back. Good pressure from the Cougars. Cause a blocked punt. And back-to-back drives. Canyon Cougars will start in plus territory. So 4:55 left here in this third quarter. And Canyon looking to pile it on, up 20-3. As Knox Ford trots out. They start at their own, or at the Austin 32. Empty backfield for Ford. Reagan comes in motion. The fake to him, and he's got green grass to work with. Knox Ford into the end zone. Touchdown, Canyon. Another one-play drive. A 32-yard rushing touchdown for the sophomore. Second touchdown of the game for him. First on the ground. And it is now 26-3 Cougars.
Wow, they had Jackson Reagan in the slot. They brought him in motion to the right. And really the Austin Maroon defense very much overshifted with them and just left a wide open spot for Ford to be able to get through when he faked the jet sweep to Reagan.
First time Canyon will try an extra point, and now we got flags flying for an illegal substitution on the Cougars. Too much trickeration. They fooled themselves.
they ran out a normal point after touchdown. They got the illegal substitution.
They looked to the sidelines as if they wanted to try another 2-point conversion, but throughout the extra point unit instead. Henriquez on for the point after. A good exchange and solid kick through the uprights. Makes it 27-3. Canyon has things working here at home in the season opener of 2025. 4:46 left here in the third. All Cougars here in New Braunfels.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Back-to-back touchdown drives to start the second half for Canyon. Both have started in plus territory. This last one, a one-play, 32-yard touchdown run from Knox Ford, has it at a 24-point lead for the Canyon Cougars. And a fair catch signal there from Logan Davis will bring the ball out to the 25. Feels like a must-score drive for the Maroons.
Yeah, must-score drive. Although the reality is that was the prior defensive effort by the Maroons really required kind of a must-not score, allow score, but they did. So, boy, this game has really gotten away from them. Just penalties, they've shot themselves in the foot. The second half, just a little more than halfway through.
An interception and a blocked punt in their first two drives this half. Let's see what they muster up here. With Davenport in the shotgun, trips to his right. Single receiver left. 3 on the play clock. He gets the snap off a deep drop. They get a screen working, and just losing his feet was number 14, Caleb DeLeon. Really understand why he took such a deep drop, was to give DeLeon that time, and just could not have his feet under him for a big gain.
Wow. looks like he had some room to go. He had his offensive lineman out there, although looked like they were a bit well out ahead of him. I'm not sure if the Canyon defense could have come in behind him and made the play anyway, but I guess it didn't really matter with them.
2nd and 12. Getting flushed out is Whit Davenport. Jump ball on the far sideline, and they're going to say an incomplete catch. Number 10 for the Maroons, Patrick Bird, came down with the ball but could not get his foot down. So an incomplete pass, and now it's 3rd and 12 from their own 23.
Davenport under pressure early in that play.
Comes into the huddle, gives them the play call, breaks with 10 on the play clock. Trips to his right. 5 on the play clock. Still waiting to get set. Clap with 1, and he runs straight into Logan Andrews. A big loss on 3rd down. The linebacker Logan Andrews having himself a good game to start his junior campaign.
Well, it has just not been a very good third quarter for the Maroons. They've not been able to get anything on going on their through drives, penalties. So after a relatively clean first half, now if they played this game in the first half, then the halftime words might have been a little bit different. But boy, just been not a very good effort in the second half.
Yeah, and a tough punt from James Peterson. Didn't catch it quite clean, and this punt marked out at the Austin High 38. So a 23-yard punt by Peterson, and it's a 3rd straight drive that Canyon with great starting field position.
I was about to say, I feel like this is the same starting spot they've had the 2 previous drives.
Started at the 38, their first drive of the 3rd quarter, 32 last drive, and now the Austin 38. Flags fly. A free play and wide open down the near sideline and into the end zone. A second touchdown for Isaac Early. If the flag stays on Austin, it is an offside call on the Maroons, so touchdown Cougars. A 3-touchdown game for Knox Ford. Both passing touchdowns coming to Isaac Early, and they continue to roll here in this 3rd quarter.
That seemed, I'm not disagreeing with the offsides, although it looked like the offsides generated movement, early movement from Canyon, which I think play should have been ruled dead, should have been ruled offsides. Austin High marched off 5 yards, which is, I think that's what Coach Cecil's wondering about on the side. Well, they're having the hardest time just kicking the simple PAT.
That's back-to-back back-to-back extra point attempts that they've had a penalty. First time illegal substitution, this time delay of game. You can afford those types of penalties when Henriquez has a nice boot. This one's blocked, and ball will trickle into the back of the end zone, so the PAT is no good. Our new score, Canyon 33, Austin High 3, 2:57 left here in the 3rd quarter, here on the opening week of Texas high school football here in the 2025 season. Latest touchdown for the Canyon Cougars, a 38-yard pitch and catch between Knox Ford and Isaac Early, the second time they've linked up for touchdown catches. A 55-yard touchdown pass in the first quarter, and now a 38-yard touchdown catch for the senior here in the third quarter. Line drive, kickoff into the back of the end zone for a touchback for Henriquez. So if you're Austin High, how do you quickly just wash everything and get some positive mojo back in your offense?
Well, the biggest problem right now is when you're facing this sort of deficit, 30 points, you're really being forced to get away from kind of your game plan and really what you seem to naturally do best. And at this point, that seems to be kind of running the ball, being a little bit conservative. Clearly, their passing game is not aligned right now, and when you have that going poorly for you, there's not a whole lot else you can do when you're down 30.
Trips right. Whit Davenport back to pass, quickly flushed off his spot, throws across his body, jump ball at midfield, and it is broken up by Luke Bell. Intended target, number 15, Brady Ford.
Well, that's a pass Ford could have come down with. He got a clean look at it and a clean jump at it. He wasn't able to haul it in.
Not a lot of time for Whit Davenport.
No.
Was immediately bull rushed by David Aguirre. So 2nd and 10 now from the 25. 2:50 to go here in the third. Quick hitch is caught. Broken tackle and pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line. A first down catch for Enzo Hoopman.
Kind of really at this point, you're just looking for the Maroons to see how we finish this game. We've had a very poor, almost first 10 minutes of the third quarter, in which a very kind of a winnable game, or still a close game, has now become a blowout. At this point, you're just trying to see how they finish and kind of the effort that they bring.
Hitch and go, looking back for Hoopman, and just could not come down with it. Ended up being more of a back shoulder throw for Enzo Hoopman. On the coverage was Emmanuel Delgado. So 2nd and 10 now from their own 35 is Austin High. 2:23 left here in the third quarter.
A little surprised they haven't kind of looked towards Logan Davis's way a little bit more tonight.
Twins split for Davenport. Coming up into the pocket, flag flies, and he just overthrew his intended target. Had Patrick Bird streaking across the middle. It would not have mattered, as there was a holding call in the backfield. So back him up 10 more yards to 2nd and 20. It's only game one, but you can definitely see what Coach Jason Cecil, the head coach for the Maroons, sees is once this young offensive line gels, it'll help their offense be more cohesive and can be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, you can do a little bit more on offense in that case. It's just been very difficult trying to keep that Canyon defense from just wrecking the offense. They do again there on that play.
They send another 6 or 7 rushers. pulling it down was Davenport, able to get a few yards. So it'll be 3rd and 18 from their own 27. They need the 45 for a first down. Under 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. Trips right for the Maroons. Now actually be a Twins look to either side. 5 on the play clock. Rolling left, and that one's thrown in the turf. Couldn't flip his hips around enough. It'll be the punting unit coming on for Austin High.
He didn't get a chance to really. Davenport didn't have the time or take the time to really turn his body and make that throw across his body, and instead he just kind of threw it and went into the ground. As another not so good drive.
Peterson, line drive punt, that will hit inside the 40, take a couple good rolls for the Maroons, and it'll be downed at the Canyon 27 as the Cougars take control of the ball and have full control of this one. 1:14 left in the third quarter. 33-3 lead for the home team. Knox Ford continues to roll out. There's the main quarterback this second half. No Lagunas needed here in this second half so far. Here's a give. Not Patrick Reagan, it's Jacob Rodriguez, senior running back. And Jackson Reagan has his helmet off.
Yeah, I think his night is done.
They're going to need him for what they want to be a long playoff run like they had last year. 5 wide. Ford, patient run and slides at the 40-yard line. And a very, very veteran move from the sophomore, giving his block some time to develop and even getting down to slide.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes ball carriers don't understand that. And really, from a quarterback's standpoint, that's even better. They're obviously not used to carrying the ball as much, but you just sometimes it helps to be a little bit patient. Set your blockers up, put them in a position to be able to get an angle on the defender, and then they make your life a lot easier. And then you said, he got down and did the slide.
And that will be the final play of the third quarter. All Canyon through 3. They're up 33-3 over Austin High. The final 12 minutes from New Braunfels. Coming up after this, you're listening to Austin High football on Vibe Live.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Texas.
This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Start of the fourth quarter. Knox Ford gives it to Jacob Rodriguez. He breaks through past midfield. The 20, the 10. Touchdown, Canyon. Jacob Rodriguez, 60-yard scamper for another score. And there are no flags for the Cougars.
Boy, he got through that hole on the left side quick, and it was over from there. Once he got to that second level, nobody was catching him. And it's been very much an onslaught by the Canyon offense this half.
Extra point is through the uprights for Carlos Henriquez. So that makes our score 40-3 Canyon. 11:50 to go here in the fourth quarter. Sam Kamen and Paul Longoria here. Thank y'all for staying with us here as we get into the wee hours of the night. A little bit of a delay here on senior night. Not often you see a senior night, night one of the high school football season, but had a senior day ceremony for the Cougars after a lightning delay pushed kickoff back 30 minutes. A solid first half for the Maroons. Well within the game, but like you said, just came out of the locker room and the penalties, couple turnovers were issues, and they made Austin High pay the price here in this second half.
Yeah, this will be tough game to watch on film, particularly in the second half for the Maroons. Just a game that really has just gotten completely away from them, unfortunately. But as we discussed, just while playing a fairly clean first half, particularly penalty-wise, Canyon team to make those mistakes or give up those plays.
Team that went 8-5 last year, were tied for second in District 29 6A, yeah, being 4-2 in the district. Made it all the way to the third round last year, beat Medina Valley in round one, beat Brownsville Veterans Memorial in round two, and then lost 39-36 to Harlan. It was their first year at the 6A level a year ago. Trying to escape some pressure and unable to do so. A sack for the Cougars. Double team action between Isaiah Ortiz and Jackson Cooper to tackle Elijah Jabon back in at quarterback. Had been more the running threat for the Maroons and could not escape the pressure. So now 2nd and 16. Back to pass, looking for the screen, and overthrows his man. Just overthrew his intended target, Caleb DeLeon. And the Maroons just cannot get anything going offensively.
Yeah, it has really been a struggle this second half. I mean, as I mentioned a little while ago, once you get to a point in the game where you kind of can't do the things that you do your best, and you've got to do stuff that is outside your comfort zone, it really becomes a struggle. There's going to be a motion penalty there.
Frustration starting to show for the Maroons as another penalty backs them up 5 more yards. And Davenport will come in for Jabon. Sticking with that trips right look. And another procedure penalty.
Wow.
Brady Ford getting the wrong snap count, so back-to-back false starts, and the Maroons continue to move in the wrong direction.
Wow. I think he was 5 yards down.
Fox past the 20, and he'll be tackled from behind at the 21, well short of the line to gain. And the punting unit now reluctantly trots back onto the field. Under 10 minutes to go in this ball game. Good thing for Austin High is there's another game next week. They're going to be at Round Rock Westwood. Also have Buda Johnson and Temple on the non-district schedule before the main part of the season that counts gets started on September 26th at Del Valley. Another false or delay of game, trying to sub in the correct unit for the punting team. So they'll punt from the 16-yard line. Peterson gets it away. Coming near side, almost hitting a Cougar, and then bounces out of bounds near midfield. So 34-yard punt from Peterson. For Canyon, they'll move to 1-0, and they've got a very tough non-district schedule. They'll play their local town rivalry with the Unicorns of New Braunfels next week. Take on a very good Alamo Heights team in 2 weeks, and then we'll finish off their non-district play with Eagle Pass before starting their district play on a bye and getting Buda Johnson on October 3rd. Going to the reserves are the Cougars. A run down the right side, and near first down yardage is J.J. Martinez. Senior getting a nice carry for a first down, 10-yard pickup. New quarterback is number 6, Boston Roselle, also a senior. Guess we can chart him down as the third string.
Third quarterback.
We don't have him as, only get 2 deep for high school and then the roster. We're getting into the 3 deep for Canyon. Another give and a gain of 1 for Martinez. We'll say that Roselle does give quarterback type of traits just from up here. Long, tall guy. Probably a baseball player.
Yeah, looks like it.
Play wide receiver. Dual sport athlete for sure. 8 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. 40-3 lead for Canyon. Another give to Martinez, and he's dragged down from behind. Nice play by number 0, Jackson Taylor. And the senior defensive end getting a tackle for loss. So now it's 3rd and 12 from the Austin High 42. Roselle rolling to his left. Throws it as he's hit, and that one's incomplete. Slow to get up as he was hit by Holden Taylor, who had the quarterback pressure. Taylor's been active on the defensive front. And so, only the second time we've seen Nolan Hamidi trot out for a punt. And Canyon's going to take a timeout. Make sure they've got everything situated. So we'll finally recognize the many businesses in our Coaches Circle sponsors. Their generosity ensures our program has the resources to thrive. We proudly thank Chuck Nash Auto Group, Mark Hart Architecture, HMI Construction, CFM Wealth Partners, Frost Bank, Mark Nascimento State Farm, J.R. Schneider Construction, Horizon Bank, Rudder Realty, Look and See Vision Care, People's Pharmacy, Soledad Builders, and Kristen Nix Interiors. We're grateful for your partnership with Austin High football. 7:09 left in the fourth quarter, 40-3 lead for Canyon as Hamidi punts this one away. It's bobbled at the 15 and gotten back on by number 88, and now temper's starting to flare.
I think there's probably the initial call looks like it's going to be maybe an unnecessary roughness because the punt returner was down on the ground. The Canyon player came in and hit him, and then the extracurricular activities probably drew second flags. Now the question on that is,
who got caught?
yeah, who got caught?
Jason Martinez was back to field the punt. Had to go through a lot of traffic just to attempt to catch it.
Yeah.
You got one where the scuffle ended up, but you also have a flag here on this near side 20 if they just threw it down. So here's our white hat. Looks like it's both going to be a dead ball penalty on both sides. So offsetting penalties. So no harm done, and penalty yardage there.
Come on, we're down 37. Give us a 50.
I know. Austin High will start this drive at the 15, 7:02. In the I formation, under center is Davenport, and nearly had himself tackled before he even handed the ball off to De Leon. De Leon will get tackled for a loss of, call it 4 or 5. We'll see where they spot it.
Yeah, boy, that nose tackle was ride the quarterback all the way back to the handoff.
It just was not blocked at all. Davenport barely got it out of his hands to De Leon. So officially a loss of 3. And again, De Leon's got nowhere to go. Immediately hit. We got 5 Canyon Cougars swarming the ball carrier. They have lived in the backfield all day long.
They have, and you know, Austin High's going to have to go back a bit to the drawing board. They've got to get some work done up front. It has just been a sieve up front all night. I mean, there's really no easy way to put it. Offensive line is just not playing very well this evening, and it's inhibited their ability to have any sort of sustained success either on the ground or in the air.
3rd and 17. Getting some positive yards is Caleb DeLeon. Call it a gain of 1 to their 9-yard line, and Mr. Peterson is getting his work in, no doubt, tonight. On the punt. Will start in his own end zone. About 3 yards deep. And here's a fake punt. Thrown right to snapped right to Childers as an up back, but does not get close to the 25, as it'll be a turnover on downs for Austin High.
That's a long way to try to cover on a fake punt. Talking about 4th and 16, and wow.
And it doesn't look like head coach Jason Cecil either called that or was trying to understand
What happened?
what was going on, as he's getting an explanation from both Childers and the long snapper. Here's a keeper for Roselle, and he stood up. Whistle was blown, even though he didn't hit the ground. He's looking for a face mask. So just a gain of 1 on the play. As the clock approaches 4 minutes left in this ball game. 2nd and 9 from the Austin High 16. Roselle gives it, and a nice tackle in the backfield. Still working hard is Holden Taylor. Able to drop J.J. Martinez for a loss. And looks like Jackson Taylor's going to have to come out of the ball game.
Crowd starting to file out.
Mad dash to avoid the log jam.
Well, I'll say this Canyon crowd did a nice job. There's a lot of red in these bleachers.
First home game of the year. First game where everything starts to feel normal again. Football's finally here. All seems right in the world when football is back in the picture. Canyon able to get a first down on that last run. So they've got 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. 3 minutes left in the ball game. And give to Martinez up the middle, and he will churn his legs to the 1.
Looks like they kept him out of there.
Henry Clifton able to push him back just far enough. So 2nd and goal from the 1. Under 2:30 to go. They'll try to use every bit of time on that play clock.
Are they going to let this go to the... Well, do they need to run a play for the 2-minute timeout? Looks like it's going to be
It's just about the same. They'll get it off before the 2-minute timeout. Getting a little help from his quarterback is J.J. Martinez. A touchdown run for the senior. Getting some help from the backside, Boston Roselle. And they tack on 6 more. 46-3 is our new score in favor of the Cougars. PAT is up and good. Nice hold there from Roselle on the low snap. So 1:56 left in this ball game, and it is all Canyon today. 47-3 here in New Braunfels. As Canyon will kick it off to the Maroons one more time. So back to the drawing board with Round Rock Westwood on deck. Back-to-back road games to start for the Maroons, and it'll be a second half they just want to burn the tapes to and really get back to work on just their bread and butter, which is being physical, running the football, and trying to play from ahead.
Yeah, they have to. They need to get some work done on the offensive line, and it's tough. It's a tough game to break down. Obviously, at the start that Coach Cecil would have liked. It's odd how poorly the second half went in comparison to the first half, and this been a tough opener.
Trying to return it. Going all the way to the far side of the field is Jason Martinez, and gets to the 24-yard line of the Maroons. So 146 to leave the Maroons with a positive taste in their mouth after a sour season opener. Had some good drives, but just not a second half they will want to remember. Good news is it's only game one. It can only go up from here.
It can only go up. It can only go up.
Still early in the season. Back to passes. Davenport getting surrounded and rushed, and he's finally dropped. Sack there from Isaiah Ortiz. Backside pursuit. Ends up in another big loss for the Maroons on offense. A loss of 4 as Davenport trots back to the huddle for the next play call. Under center in the I formation. Play action, trying to escape the rush, and he cannot. Another sack, this time Matthew Moya able to drag down Whit Davenport. And Austin High does not have to run another play. Play clock and game clock about simultaneous and lock with each other. They're going to line up for one more play. 15 seconds left. 2 wide receivers to the left of Davenport. It'll be just a QB run up the middle, and he gets back to the 19-yard line, and that will be the final play of the game. 14-3 was our score at halftime, and Canyon able to outscore Austin High 33-0 in the second half to have our final score of the Canyon Cougars 47, the Austin High Maroons 3. Final thoughts from you?
Well, can't say much. It was just a tough opener. I'm still just kind of bewildered how poorly the second half went when we were talking about it at halftime. Say, hey, their game's right there. They had a pretty solid first half. They didn't make a lot of silly mistakes, and really just to kind of come out in the second half, and really there's no beating around the bush. The Maroons played very poorly in the second half. They had big penalties, and they couldn't do anything on offense. They put themselves in bad holes on defense. Obviously that put pressure on the defense by executing so poorly on offense, and then penalties and big. We talked about the big type of penalties, the holding, personal foul, face mask, things that kept drives alive when they could have perhaps at least kept Canyon out of the end zone and maybe held them to a field goal. Well, those touchdowns just kept piling up. So, I mean, really just not a very good game on either side of the ball. There's not a whole lot you can take away from this. I know at the end of the first half we talked about, hey, the effort's been good. You can kind of fall back on that, but really the third and fourth quarter were just, for lack of a better word, just kind of unmitigated disasters in all facets of the game, all three areas of the game.
They will be on the road once again. The Austin Maroons will be at Round Rock Westwood next Friday night, September 5th, and we'll look for their first win of 2025. New Braunfels Canyon also on the road, not too far, as they'll trot over for their rivalry game with the New Braunfels Unicorns. For Paul Longloria, I'm Sam Kamen saying good night from New Braunfels. The Texas high school football season is finally back, and New Braunfels Canyon getting a 47-3 win to start their 2025 season. Be with us next Friday as the Maroons take on Round Rock Westwood. We'll see you everyone next Friday here on Vipe Live.